I'm back with another episode of painting frames, and if you saw the last couple, I've just been doing a lot of, I guess I call it just final touch-up work on paintings completed. Now I built a frame, and now just the final touches on that. I'm I'm not intending to do anything special except to kind of just invite you into my studio so you can get an idea of maybe what it's like to be a painter, to do paintings, or more or less just to know that there's a lot of things that go into creating a painting before it's actually complete. So let's get to it. Um, this is the next painting. If you saw the last one, I had another one where I've been making these frames, and then I've got this painting that I had done previously before I built the frame. So it looked just like this. And I was originally just going to leave the outside edge white. That's kind of nice. And then I thought, I think I want to put these things in frames just because it makes it a little easier for um, when people go to put them in their homes. It's a little easier to hang. They don't have to deal with the frames. So as you saw, I build the from the board with the canvas on it. I then add these, build up the edge out here. So when it goes into the frame that I built, it makes a nice little shadow box. And now that it's this new setup, or now that it's newly framed, the question becomes, what do I do with this outside edge? I don't quite like it this way because it just doesn't complement or go well with the color of the frame and the inset, which tends to be darker. So there's the highlight of the frame, but then there's this dark edge, and then it goes immediately this white. So I want to do something about that. So my thought is to bring in something that relates this painting to this area in the shadow area and to this. So it's a nice transition from the painting out to the frame. So in this case, there's something about having this yellow and then toning this down in a way that um, does not compete with this and yet merges or moves into the shadow area and works well with the frame too. So again, all painting is an experiment. I'm thinking that I want to do something of like a gray, less, not too saturated gray, yellowish color. I don't have a better word than that. So the first thing I'm going to do is mix up a violet. And what I like to use to mix violet is alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue. So I got these two colors, put a little more blue in there. And what I find is that, and actually show this to you, what I find is those two colors make a nice, tend to make a nice violet. And the reason I'm choosing violet, yeah, that's looking pretty good. So that's a little bit to the red, a little bit to the warm. So let's bring that down a little bit more, put a little bit more blue in there. And let's see what we got. There we go. Oh yeah. And by the way, for painters that happen to be watching this, anytime you're mixing a colors or colors that tend to be dark, it's hard to see what the actual color is. So if you take a little bit of white and mix it down in there, then you can start to see the color of the darker color. Now I'm mixing a violet because violet is the opposite on the color wheel from yellow, and that's how to create a gray. Any opposite of the color wheel. So you've got the color, any opposite pair of colors will create a gray. So yellow, for example, yellow, and I really ought to get some more paint out here. Yeah, that's done. I need to get some yellow. Let me go grab some yellow. I'll be right back. That's better. So yellow across the color wheel from yellow is violet or purple. Let's take some of that and put some of that there. And now let me grab some of this opposite and see what we get. And the same thing here, because it's so dark, I'm not really able to see the color. So let's add some of that in. And now we start to see what that gray is looking like. And it's not quite as gray as I'd like it. And I want to have a little bit more of the yellow in there. So let's pick some of that up and we'll put that in there. Probably too much. That's okay. Definitely too much. So let me pick some of that up. And now we'll go back in here and so we got, now that's much more to the gray. Good. I'm going to add one other color, and that's going to be some of this orange. And the reason I want to do that is there is some orange around here, right? There's orange in here, something about picking that up. And then again, thinking, will that transition make that nice transition into the shadow and complement the frame color? So we got that. Let's go ahead and mix that all up now. It's looking kind of brown. And I'm putting plenty of white in it because I don't want it to be too saturated. So right now, even now, it's still too saturated of a color. So I'm going to continue to bring that down with the white. The thing to remember about white is it also cools it. Titanium white cools the color, so it's going to make it a little bit more towards a blue. Let's pick up a little bit more of that, a little bit more of the yellow. And you can see I'm not mixing a whole lot of colors here, a whole lot of paint, because I don't need that much for this. It's not a big area that I'm painting. It's fascinating, the infinite variety of colors that can be mixed with paint. Fascinating. Okay, that's looking, so that's interesting. Let me put this in the frame and I'm going to just hold it right there. So if I hold it across, I can start to see what's happening. And I think I'm kind of liking that. See, it works well with that. I might just gray it down a little bit more. Just to tone it down so it doesn't become a big competition to the painting. I want, obviously, the focus needs to be on the painting, or doesn't need to be, I want it to be on the painting. So it needs to be a more subtle compliment and not an overdoing of it. I'd be interested to know what you think about my choice here. I'm also going to now add some thinner in into this because um, I don't need a whole lot of paint on there, and I also like it. I like it. I want it to dry faster. The last one I did it, it's actually still drying. White, the titanium white tends to take a long time to dry. Even here in New Mexico, which it's really reasonably warm and super dry climate, and yet that um, titanium really still takes a while to dry up or to dry before I can finish framing it. I want to get these done. So let's see what's happening. Bring that down a little bit. I don't want to straighten out that edge too much. The edge around there. I like it sort of it's almost like the idea actually was kind of like a deckled edge that was as though it were um, on a sheet or a glimpse into the. Okay, now before I go too much further, let me get the frame, put it back in there, and let's see how that's looking. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I don't know about you, but I like that a lot better. It's not so jarring to see this white here, and it's not completely dark, right? But it also helps. It relates to this color here and sort of completes the painting. So I think I'm going to go with that, and I'll finish that up. Obviously, all I'm going to be doing is just continuing along or continue what I just started, and you get the idea of what I'm up to. And I will post somewhere. I'll post the result later on of this painting plus the other ones that I've been working on. So um, that's all for today. Well, that's not all for today. The day is going to continue on about that. And on that note, whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying your day. And as always, please get out in nature, take a look at nature, just even for a couple minutes. It's really helpful for relaxation and calming. And if you're not able to get out in nature, that's why there's artwork. Honestly, artwork, and there's a whole lot of studies around this now. Artwork helps to bring a sense of calm and ease to our mind. And that's what I wish for you, to have a pleasant day and ease of mind. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you in another session.